a way forward for a better Sweden and a better world. And it just could not be in more important timing right now. So I want to acknowledge all the work that you do, and it is such a pleasure to stand in a room of dangerous dreamers who equally believe, like me, we can make stuff happen. Thank you. So I came across this quote only last week again. It's one of my favourites, and it's a quote that I'm sure many of you have heard. Tell me, what is it that you're going to do with your one wild and precious life? I love this quote for so many reasons, because of the work that I do, because of the people that are around me, but today, this quote is so poignant. My father is dying, and yesterday morning, I had to leave him to come here. We have a very short amount of time left with him. And I didn't want to get on the plane. And I was like, but Dad, I don't want to go. And he said, what have I taught you? Put your head up, put your shoulders back, don't give up, and get on that plane and do the work you believe in. So I am here with my shoulders back and my head up. And I promise you, I would have not gone to any other conference anywhere in the world except for you guys. Because I know that here I'm going to get just as much energy as I am going to give, to be reminded why I do what I do. And why I do what I do is so much part of my father, who always taught me impossible is an opinion. And when I gave that title, I didn't know how real it was going to be today. There are some things that are impossible. Like all of us need to pass at some point. But for most other things, and Dad's opinion has always been, find a solution. Don't tell me the problem, Caroline. Find a solution. So I am here talking about what I have chosen to do with my one wild and very, very precious life. And for Dad, this is for you. When I was 17 years old, I had so many dreams, and I've had them all my life, but I have many, many dreams, and many things that I want to do with my crazy life. I'm a crazy maker. I'm one of these people who truly believe that you can make most things happen. If you've the right attitude, and the right stamina, right sense of humor, and you have to be a little crazy. And my dreams when I was a kid were full of the crazy. I wanted to be Mowgli from the Jungle Book, and I wanted to race cars and motorbikes. I am a biker chick inside this dress, and I wanted to be a cowgirl. And because of these dreams, they're all about freedom and self-expression and doing things that nobody else has done before, or pioneer breaking, or just being free to be myself. And on my 17th birthday, my father, knowing that inside me, he gave me my very first driving lesson, because he knew that I wanted to be the biker chick. There's no way he would have allowed me to have a bike, but he wanted me to believe that I could be the girl that I wanted to be. And so I got that first driving lesson 28 years ago last Thursday. I just turned 45. I still want to be a biker chick, by the way. But on my 17th birthday, when he gave this to me, this dream of being this biker chick was so alive. But by accident, on that 17th birthday, as I held this dream in my hand, I discovered, for now or for then, that I would never be a biker chick. Because I have a very rare genetic condition. And I discovered by accident on my 17th birthday that I am, and have been since birth, registered blind. Now, I know you're looking at me thinking, well, hello, what does that mean? Because what do registered blind people look like, right? And the first thing that makes people very confused when I tell them that I'm registered blind is that I'm wearing heels, which I find hilarious. It's like, why don't blind girls wear heels? It's got nothing to do with it. I'm a girl, I like heels. Now, these are ridiculously high. I packed the wrong shoes yesterday morning. But what does visually impaired look like? And was it really an accident? Well, let me explain what I see first. So I actually can see nothing, which is amazing. Beyond this stage, which I hope is not too close, there's just blurs of you. But the great news about being with me, so when I see you afterwards, you get to be the most beautiful, the best looking person in your life. At 45, I don't need to worry about Botox. I just stand 3 feet away from the mirror. Beyond my hand, it is completely blurry. I smell you very well. I hear you very well. I feel you very well, but I really don't see you very well at all. I have spent a lot of my life, and I'm blonde, naturally blonde, so being blind and blonde is a really bad combination, because you constantly look like you don't know what you're doing, particularly when you're walking into glass doors, you know? People are going, who's the crazy girl? And I am a very friendly person, but because I have hugged and kissed the wrong men many a time, I often walk by people not knowing who they are. You should see what I come home with from the shops. It's ridiculous. I have clothes that I thought looked amazing on me, and they just don't, unless I'm standing very far away from the mirror. I have got on the wrong planes. I have got into private cars thinking they're taxis and got arrested. My world, and I look kind of normal, right? No, well, I am normal. I don't even know what normal is, right? But anyhow, so it wasn't an accident, guys. It wasn't an accident that I found out on my 17th birthday. How I found out was an accident. But I was born in 1971, and my parents discovered after 6 months old, when I was blinking a lot, and they thought I was very intelligent, but it wasn't that at all. It was that I have this condition. And this condition meant that my sight was very, very reduced, at a very low level. And they had to make a decision about where I would go to school, what life I would have. And for those of you who are parents, I guess this must be an incredibly scary thing, a decision to make. And so my father and mother decided that they would send me to a normal school with a pair of fake glasses, so they look kind of the same, and bring me up as a sighted child. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. I had no idea I couldn't see very well, and I go to school, and they tell me I'm fine, so I just go to school. And the reason they did it is because they fundamentally believed if we put a label of disability on our child, her world will be limited. She will behave in a smaller way. The only limits are those that we put on ourselves. And my family motto is, labels are for packages, not for people. Not one of you is ever defined by one label. Guys, we are so many labels. We're so juicy and diverse and different. We're obsessed with labels and putting people in boxes. We are not to be put in boxes, and we're not even boxes. So they brought me up as a sighted child. I went into school totally blindly, excuse the pun, completely unaware of what was going on. I was appalling at sports that you had to hit balls. Very difficult. We often this expression in Irish school, keep your eye on the ball. Well, hello? Where? And I was determined, definitely, but the things that I couldn't do, I just thought I was really bad at sports. I am not bad at sports. I'm actually quite good. But I'm not good at hitting things, like balls. But, so Dad had this thing, well, she can't hit stuff, and generally I would run into walls. So what he did was, this is my favourite Dad story, is he taught me how to sail a boat. I was 6 years old, right, sailing a boat, a little tiny boat on a lake in Ireland. My mother is apoplectically terrified beside him, going, oh, Jerry, please don't put her in the boat. I'm oblivious. I put my life jacket on to lie dead. And before I get in the boat, Dad says to me, close your eyes and feel where the sun is. Okay, hop into boat, Mum's crying, I get in the boat, Dad gets into a motorboat and brings my little sailing boat out into the middle of the lake. Then he goes round and round 3 times, lets my little sailing boat go, and he goes, sail home. Now, I have never sailed, okay? Sail home. And I'm like, but how do I sail? I don't know how to sail. And I was like, but where's home? Because I still didn't know that I didn't understand what I didn't understand. And he said, Caroline, take the rudder, take the sail sheet. I want you to remember where the sun was when you stood on the shore. And now I want you to feel the wind in your face. And come home. And that is a true story. And I got home. But I didn't get home because of the bloody wind in my face. It was my mum's crying on the shore all the way home. But that is the best example for me of what we are all here to do. We know in our hearts the world can be better, but we've got to use our guts and our intuition, our heads and our hearts, and go out, maybe not knowing where we'll end up, but at least we have got to try. And at least we have to start. And we cannot judge what goes wrong, but we must at least aim in the direction of a better world for everyone, where we all can participate in it. So this wind in my face story still didn't mean I had a clue. I went right through my teenage years still thinking I was perfect, kissed frogs, got to 17, find out I'm registered blind, and I gotta tell you, I was not a happy person. Not because I couldn't drive, it's because I didn't believe it. I honestly did not believe I'm visually impaired, and I still don't some days. So what, but the other thing was, I was 17, I was a rock chick. I was like, no way, I don't want to have a label of disability. And so I did the worst thing that you can do. I discriminated against my tribe of people, not wanting to own it, so frightened that if I told you that I had a disability, I wouldn't get a job, I wouldn't go to university, I wouldn't fall in love, I wouldn't have the life that I wanted. I had a perception that disability meant my life would be small, and so I hid it. On the day I found out was the last day I spoke about it, publicly. And I hid it for 11 years. Wow. And I became the best deflector that you ever got going on. Skirts that were different colours. Every time I walked into a wall, I'd have a great story. I did archaeology. Is that the most ridiculous thing a visually impaired person should do? Really? I got fired? Funny that, since I broke some of the excavation. I travelled around the world. When I got to Australia, I was like, I'm so driving a car, because I thought like I could try and drive a car there. Of course, they asked me to read sort of a registration on a car, and I was like, what car? Couldn't see it. So that didn't happen. I drove across the Nullarbor Plain, hitched, not a good idea, but that was my only way of getting a moment on a truck. I came home, I was a landscape gardener, seriously. Then I did massage, well, you know, you don't need to see so much to do that. Did that of the good kind now, of the good kind. And then I went back to business school. They still hadn't caught that I couldn't see. I was rocking it. And then I get, you know, the milk round or the graduate recruitment program, and everybody wants to work for Accenture. Brilliant management consultancy company. So I said, excellent, I'll do that too. And I got the job. What does that say about management consultants? They didn't see that I was applying to. So I am doing remarkably well getting through life by not telling anybody, and I am rocking it, but I'm also exhausted. By the time I'm 28 years old, 2.5 years in Accenture, which I loved. I loved it. It was work hard, play hard. But unfortunately, my eyes failed very dramatically because I was not asking for help. Problem. First part of social innovation, we all need to learn how to ask for help. And a lot of us who are social entrepreneurs have a tendency just to try and fix it all. And this characteristic was certainly inbred in me. But because I didn't ask for help, my eyes failed so dramatically that I had very little choice left. And when I was coming up to the age of 28 years old, I went in for the very first time in my life and owned my disability into the head of HR of Accenture. I remember her very well, and I sat down and I said, Alice, I need to have a conversation with you. I need to tell you something. And she said, okay. And I said, I can't see you right now. And she goes, no problem, Caroline, we'll schedule another time. I said, no, I can't see you right now at all. And there was something about that word can't, and about saying I couldn't, about admitting it and coming out of that closet. It's like standing here telling you I'm scared, I'm vulnerable. And doing that was the hardest thing I'd done, because I'd always managed and always fixed it and always deflected, because I wanted to belong, because I wanted to be included. And I didn't think that you would do that if you knew the truth. And my confidence took a wallop. I was sent to an eye specialist, favourite people, and he very, very gently gave me a very big lecture. The most important things he said to me were, why are you afraid to be who you are? He said, these eyes aren't going to get better, you know. It's the 6 inches between your ears that needs to change. And that's about everything, right? As I left his office, I was devastated and angry, and I was using a lot of blue language. And he called me back and he said, Caroline, I have a feeling about you. Young lady, last time I was called that, I think you've got something big to do with your life. I left his office, I was like this, and I went for a run. I love running. Now I run with a sighted guide. Not the best thing to do when you're upset is to go running on your own when you can't see very well. And I went running along this beach in Sandymount, and I have never in my life fallen. I was 28 years old, I have never fallen, ever, ever, ever. Very proud of that. I fall all the time now. But I didn't then, and I fell really hard on a rock that I have always seen and always avoided. But that day I was so upset that my world had stopped being my world. I realized that I was defining myself by my role. We can only define ourselves by who we are, not what we do, who we are. So on this rock, I'm sitting here crying my eyes out. It's Wednesday in Ireland in March. It's wet and grey. And I'm like, how am I going to get off the rock? And you know who I thought of first was my dad. Do you know, my dad would have killed me if he'd seen me on that rock. He would get up there, shoulders back, wind in your face. And I didn't know how to get off the rock. But do you know what went through my mind? Was another part of the conversation the doctor and I had, and he'd asked me what my dreams were when I was a child. Now, I didn't tell him what they were, because he already thought I was crazy, and if he knew I wanted to be a biker chick and a Mowgli from the Jungle Book and a cowboy, good God, he probably wouldn't have let me out of the office. But actually, when I sat on that rock crying my eyes out, thinking I would never be able to get up, I call it Snot Rock, because it was tears and snot. And we all have snot rocks. You don't have to have bad eyesight to have snot rocks. There's many of you sitting here today who are carrying something like I am. You know what that feels like. But what got me off that snot rock was the dream of being Mowgli from the Jungle Book. Oh yes, my friends, I did a massive career change on Snot Rock. I went from management consultant to Mowgli from the Jungle Book, 8 months from Snot Rock, and how I did that was I took a year off Accenture and went across India on an elephant, 1,000 kilometers, and trained as an elephant hunter. Tremendous. Oh yeah, that was a big move, right? That was brave, audacious, and crazy. And can I just tell you, the best decision of my life. It was easier to step out into the complete unknown than stay with the person that I was scared to be myself. And when I got to India, and how I went across India on an elephant was to be with a little elephant called Kanchi, who's now 37. I own her now. Well, I own her with an Indian man. She was big and fat, and but she was the love of my life. And I got to tell you, because I'm Irish and Catholic and guilty, it's a thing that we have, you know, I couldn't do that just for self-development or anything. No, I got to do it for charity. And so we raised enough money to give, or to pay for 6,000 cataract operations, which was just amazing. 6,000 people, as we went along our journey, got to get their eyesight back in India. And what I discovered in India was actually the disability was not the issue. My sight was not the issue. What I discovered on my elephant was, once again, it was my attitude. And when I came off my elephant, I had learned so much about disability, the issue that faces 1.2 billion people in the world, that I just simply could not go back to Accenture, who, by the way, were loving me because I'd raised millions. But I was like, I can't go back. Social entrepreneurship chose me. I didn't choose it. Because I realized I had discriminated against disability, and I had to fix it. My own discrimination But also I realised there are 1.2 billion people in the world who are marginalised, excluded, consciously and unconsciously, more than any group of people in the world. And I wanted everybody to belong. And I wanted every child, no matter how different they are, to be able to reach the potential they needed to reach. To be gifted what I had been gifted, the chance to dream. And if I had a child, I think the thing I would say most of them is go on my knees and hold their shoulders and say, you are just perfect the way you are. Just as you are. Be yourself. Be yourself because everyone else is taken. That's the only choice that we have. And so what I did was I came home and I set up my first not-for-profit called Canchi, Disability is the Elephant in the Room. And I went about in my crazy idealism thinking that I could change it, even just a little bit. They say I want you to watch one particular film today if you get a chance, which is the Apple ad from 1984, which is Think Different. People who are crazy enough to think they can change the world often can, a little bit. It's my favourite film. When I get sad or scared, I watch it. So what I do want to say is, when I set up that organisation, I thought we could do it, and I still believe we can, and I will not give up. But the thing that I believed was so important, the key to all of the ability to change the world was business. Business. Business needs to be part of this social innovation. They cannot be on the outside, they must be in the middle. And what we brought to the field was something nobody had ever done before. Charity is part of the problem with disability. But no government alone and no charity and no medical, nothing can fix disability. It cannot be eradicated. 80% of people with disability acquire between the ages of 18 and 64. In this room, 10% of you, which is 60 of you, will acquire a disability in the next 10 years. But you want to live the life you want. Of course you do. Your parents, your children's friends, your children. You want them to have the life, to be seen first as the human. A medical condition should never define any of us. And so what I wanted to do is get business to see that people with disabilities and their families, which is 45% of our population, are customers and talent and suppliers and members of the community. It's a win for business, it's a win for us. Because if business values people with disability, then society will too. Inclusive business will create inclusive societies. And for several years we created methodologies that we were so unbelievably successful at what we did. And I was thinking we can do it. And then somewhere around 2014 I went, that's not good enough. And I'm the crazy girl who shut down that organisation and have now set up a new one. Because it's either big or go home. I do want to pinch the world for a moment. I want the 1.2 billion people's voices, people with disabilities' voices, about belonging and inclusion to help all of us to be included and belong. And this new little company that I've created is called BINC, as in capital B-I-N-C, Be Inclusive, Business Inclusion. It is not a charity. Somebody with a disability is not a charity case, they're a human. And if we think about how disability is perceived in our world, and think about, not mean, nobody means to be mean, but how it's seen in the media, it's either super inspirational person, or oh my God, you poor thing, or you're a freak. Every James Bond criminal happens to have a disability. Seriously, where am I in that? I don't know. But the time is so perfect now to change that. And this little company, BINC, and you are the first audience I'm saying this to because we are literally 6 weeks out from just starting this, is by next year. I hope that you will see more of me, not me, but we are going to ignite and catalyse the very first world movement on inclusive business for the eradication of the exclusion of 1.2 billion people with 5 of the world's biggest brands and CEOs. If we could do this for the planet, we can do this for people. And I'm going to do it. And I promised Dad, because all of this has happened at the time that Dad's been sick, is this the right time? But this is the right time. All of our lives are valuable. All of us need to have the same chance. And I have been waiting to do this for 3 or 4 years. I have attempted a way to make this happen, and now I've got enough fire in my belly to make sure it will. And I know that I'm just about to run out of time, But I want to just say a few things to you as you go into this amazing 2 days. Firstly, thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. But this is so much. Social innovation is, and we're discussing, is that the language we should be using? But anyway, later, have conversations about that. But the word social is key. People, this is about people, communities, societies, cultures. So here you are convened, all of you from different places, but you have one common feeling in you. I can do something that's going to make this world a bit better. So I challenge you to go find 3 people that you know nothing about, or if there's some random stranger standing beside you in the toilet, well, not in the toilet, but you know what I mean, or at the coffee machine, or here, or sitting beside you right now, turn around and say hi. At least 3. Don't let somebody stand over in the corner on their own if they don't want to be. Because there's one thing worse than being bullied, because you're different, and that's being invisible. So go find them. Don't let anybody stand on their own. This is about collaboration. The second thing in this conference, please consider, can we not make this sector overcomplicated? Can we take the ego out of it? We shouldn't be another sector. We should be infiltrating all sectors. Yes, 3 minutes. Thank you. I told her to do that. She's not being mean. Find a way to find the language that fits each sector and make sure business are part of it. There's an amazing business leader sitting out there, and he's going to hate me for doing this, Johan Anderson, who I saw speaking in Hong Kong. Now that's a head heart leader. I suggest you go find him and his friends, because we need business to be part of this conversation. We need to make sure we're using language that everybody can find their role and place to be involved. And I really ask that as we create this sector in all of our countries in the world, that we pay really strong attention to ensuring that we do not judge when something does not work. Please, if you want innovation, you're going to have failure all over the place. It has to happen. But failure is only learning. Please make sure the capital is there. Patience finance, failing finance, building finance. Make sure the frameworks are created around allowing people innovate and create and fall down, because maybe the 4th time they come up is the best time of all. Be mindful that we need to put values into this sector that are not about ego, and competition is good, but nobody is an expert in this field. Nobody. Take the ego out of the room. Values of resilience and integrity and kindness. Kindness. And lastly, do not give up. If this was so easy, somebody else would have done it way a long time ago. The social issues that exist are complicated, but they are solvable. If you stop saying how difficult it is. You're not saying that, the people outside are. No, we need to bring all the skeptics in the room next year, okay? We have to do the skeptic challenge. And I just want to end by saying, the reason I say never give up is because I have lived it. Because I stand here holding this new company in my hand when everybody told me I couldn't do it. Well, I will. And I'm not giving up until I do. But I've also proved it in a cute and funny way. I did get to drive that car, guys. And I didn't have to wait till Google did its driverless car. I know. I did a thing called Around the World in 80 Ways with 2 other people with disabilities. One was completely blind and the other had lost his legs and was paralysed from the chest down. He used to be 6'4", he's now 4'8". And we were challenged to go around the world using 80 modes of transport in 3 months and raise $1 million. Raising the money easy, getting around the world kind of easy. Can I just say, harder to get on a train in Rome than sit on an ostrich, saying. But anyway, we get to Malaysia, and everybody knows this is the girl who wants to ride a biker chick. So they decide the Malaysian Grand Prix track, open it up to the full press and say, let's have the first blind against blind race. On the Malaysian Grand Prix track. I've never driven before. A tractor once, that's it. So Miles, the guy who's completely blind, gets a deaf guy as his sighted guide. I get Mike, the no legs and paralysed from the chest down, because he feels he's nothing else to lose if we crash. He's 167% disabled in the UK. And we are on the start line. Malaysian media everywhere. I am so excited. And I want you to hear this. Please make make sure you are hearing the flag waves to start the race. What is wrong with that picture? Two things. One is they forget the blind people are driving the car and can't see the flag. And the second thing is, who's the friends in the car not doing a good job? Anyway, they get the horn. 192 kilometers an hour, 5 laps around the Malaysian Grand Prix track, and I never crashed. Miles won, but I raced. So what is it that I am going to continue to do with my one wild and precious life? I am going to commit all the energy I have, not to the work just that I do, but how I can help in any way to this sector that cares about making better lives. Lives where everybody gets to belong, where you get to be who you need to be, where children do too, where lives are saved. And I will not give up. I do believe impossible is an opinion for most things. And I am very, very proud to be here. I stand here as Caroline Casey, a dangerous dreamer, a social disruptor, and a very, very grateful person for you receiving me so well. Thank you.
We know that those days are very difficult for you, and you are here with us. We just want to say so much thank you again. And I bring one sentence with me more than others. Labels are for packets, not for people. Thank you once again, Carol.